I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the Kundalini and some other miscellaneous subjects. Um, so they, in the Laya Yoga, they have what's called inspiration, the inhalation, and expiration, the exhale. And then they also have breath suspension, which is kumbhaka. And it just brought me back to that night of Om, again, the meditation of Om. Um, it was, they talk about a sound mantra, a seed mantra, and that sound mantra, I remember hearing it, in, through my physical ears, and it got to the point, during my breathing and holding my breath, it was I had started feeling it in my gut. The more I started falling into that deep meditation, and it had gotten into my solar plexus, and I just remember, I take it as that seed mantra. It was like, it felt like that. It felt like something was planting, something had planted in my belly, because it was just that a weird feeling. Uh, and eventually it went into my root, where I felt that point, and the vibrations coming away from that point in a circular motion and coming outward. And I just remember, the inhaling and exhaling to that chant from the monks of Om. And, the very beginning, it just, it didn't sound like a lot of monks. And the deeper it got in, when it went into my gut, my belly, solar plexus, I started hearing more and more monks, and my breathing, started going to the sound, to the tune of Om, where I realized that my breathing started getting even longer, my inhale and exhale. And as I heard the whole sound of the Om, eventually when I got up pretty high, I would feel like, as I was rising and rising and rising, my it was getting longer in between. So as they were chanting Om, I would inhale all the way until they stopped chanting that Om. And as they stopped the chant, that's when I would pause. So I would hold my breath. And I would hold it until I heard that bell. And once I heard that bell, then I would exhale. And throughout the whole chant of Om, I would exhale the whole time. And this got to the point where it was, all the way through. Eventually I held it the whole time through Om. And when they stopped chanting, I held my breath again. And then once the bell came, then I would breathe again. I would inhale. And that got to the point where I realized that I was rising as I was doing that. As my breath was getting longer and longer throughout the Om, where to the point, like I said, when I got way up high, and as I heard that third bell and the vibrations and everything, it had, I had felt like I was this balloon, in a sense, that you take and just let go, and all the air is just let out of it, and coming from this giant sized down to a miniature sized person, where it was just a really weird feeling. But yeah, it was. I feel like like I said, it had cleaned my spine, but also it had cleaned those 31 pairs of spinal nerves that I have coming out, and that we have coming out of our spine, and the 12 pairs of cranial nerves. It felt like it had just opened everything up. Like I opened up some doorways, some portals, like through our DNA or something. It was just really weird. It was a weird feeling, but it felt like I had leaped and skipped so many steps, like I had just flown from point A to point B and missed everything in between. So as I came back, I felt like throughout this whole time I had went so far ahead that I didn't take baby steps, in a sense, and I felt like I had to go back and retrace my steps, which took me to finding the root of the problem of why I did what I did, and taking some wrong paths along the way, and being farther and farther away from my true self. Just holding things in, not saying things if things bother me. Thinking for, I would just go along with everything, just to try and keep peace. But I felt like that just damaged me too as well, and just made me angrier, just holding that in, feeling like I got taken advantage of, and now I know it was my fault, because I had a voice. I could speak up, say what's on my mind, regardless. If somebody upsets me, it's good to communicate, and that was my problem. Is I feel like I never communicated, and that turned into anger. Holding that in for a lot of years, it kept on and kept on, and taking me away from who I really am. And it's just that feeling that you get when you wake up. It's like you're like, it's like I know I had mentioned many times, I was just angry all the time, and now I know why. It's just because I never said what was on my mind. I never spoke my mind, and if I did, it was out of anger. And I feel like that damaged me internally in a ways, through my organs and everything. It had blocked all my channels, all this anger that I had held in for so long, and it just kept piling up, and I was still nice. I was still a nice person, but inside I had all this stuff that was just built up, and like I say, it's like a splinter, and when it festers, it needs to come out. And it was for me, that the night of my oldest son's graduation, right before the night of Om, it was the last thing I could take, and that next day, just letting it all go. It was like I went from point A to point B, and everything inside being healed, and it was, it's just amazing. It's just it goes from the sound, hearing the sound, to that, feeling that in your root, where it's like a seed mantra, and it's almost reminds me of like a flower. It's like you plant a seed, and it germinates, and then eventually it sprouts. from the sunlight. And that's what it felt like. It felt like everything was new to me. Once I came back, in a sense, I came back, and it was like I didn't even. I remember when I tried to walk, I was just my legs were locked, everything was locked, and throughout the time, everything seemed so new and fresh. Outside, the trees, the wind, everything seemed so alive. But yeah, it was just very powerful. And that's what I say. It's just not healthy to hold things in. You have to be able to just let it go, forgive. It's, health wise, it's really good. Spiritually, it's really good. Emotionally, it's a good feeling. For me, I'm not afraid to say what's on my mind now. I'm still learning a lot. I still learn. I'm always going to be learning. I know that. But yeah, it's an amazing feeling when you can be yourself. Yeah, amazing feeling. You feel proud about that. You can walk with dignity, with pride, to just being you. Yeah, it's just it's a really good feeling. So I just kind of want to share that, but also it's like once you've awakened, and that you activated that rousing Kundalini in a sense, and it's like a journey. It's like that Kundalini just keeps going and going. You start learning a lot of new different things and a lot of new different ways. And, I remember when I first was really on that high level of hearing everything through internally. I remember I was doing things that I had never done before. It was like, the hand that I use all the time, I'm left-handed, and I was doing a lot of things with my right. It was like being able to focus on something other than what I was normally used to doing. So it was like as I washed dishes, instead of washing with my left, I would wash with my right. Instead of getting coffee with my left, I'd get it with my right. So it was like doing the opposite. I was doing a lot of things that were opposite what I normally do, and it reminds me of how they talk about a 21-day. When you take up something new, you do it for 21 days. It's like that. It's like manifesting something differently, and I felt that my body had got so used to doing the same thing over and over that I didn't realize change is good, change is necessary, and you just constantly need to work on yourself, check yourself, and like I always say, now for me, especially when I'm up on that high, it's like a daily it's a daily thing. It's a daily regimen. It's constantly making sure that you did everything to the best of your ability per day. That's what I do for me. I just make sure that I'm on the right track, because that leap that I had taken and then backtracked and then taking those baby steps, now I don't want to go towards any wrong paths. It's just not good. It's not healthy in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share that a little bit. just it's definitely life-changing. It's definitely life-changing, but it's worth it. So yeah, so that Kundalini is, if anybody is out there trying that, it definitely has a lot of positive effects. I know they say, usually you shouldn't do it, have a professional, but yeah, I didn't know that's what I had activated, and I didn't do it intentionally. It just happened like that, by just surrendering everything and just letting everything go. I just felt that. I was so tired. I just felt it. I was tired of fighting. I was tired of fighting myself inside, and I finally gave up. It was just amazing. I had no idea that something like this could happen. Yeah. So I think that's it. I think that's all I want to talk about. I know I'll be talking about a little bit of Kundalini throughout, just because I remember things in a deeper perspective. That manifestation, the germination period for me, and that sprouting. It just it truly works. It's amazing. To have that feminine and positive energy come together, and be able to learn about balance and centeredness within myself. It's a good feeling. It's just you realize a lot of things. You realize everything. You realize so much of life. Why you did what you did. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's like you have to go through that darkness in a sense to see that light, because once you see that light, you know the difference. It's we have to go through these lessons in life. I know I had to go through these lessons for a reason, and all these reasons led to light, led to the goodness. I see the big difference now. It's a huge difference. It's just an amazing feeling to be able to experience that. I just for a person who I feel like for me, that never really thought about believing and everything. It was just like a quick. It was one quick question and one feeling. I feel like just anybody. It could happen to anybody. It's like it can happen to everybody. Definitely, you just can't give up hope. You can't give up, faith. And you just have to believe. So the Kundalini is an ongoing process, that's for sure. You learn a lot. It's like I'm learning about the body in a sense. Earth, Mother Earth, the body, through our DNA, through our skeletal bones, our tendons, our muscles, our blood, our veins, everything, just everything. It's a good feeling, and learning about the universe, learning about the planets, learning about the sun, the moon, everything. It's just, it's like, I feel like that's my way of being on a spiritual level, learning about all different things. So, it's just like you have to take time for yourself. But, so that's all. I just kind of wanted to talk about that. Thanks.